Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Zach. I do tech and coding videos on YouTube. Today I'm going to be solving number 200 medium problem on Leetcode in C++. So this question, if you guys want to see it in other languages, let me know in the comments down below. So this question, essentially, it's going to give you a 2D grid, a matrix, and it's going to have ones and zeros, and then land is ones, which are all touching each other in horizontal, vertical, right above or underneath, to the right or left of each other. If a one is surrounded in all four directions by a zero, then it's an island. Everything else is water, and then it wants you to basically find how many independent islands there are, right? So here, this, all those ones are touching, and there's no other ones on their own, so that means there's one island. Here, these are touching here, but then to the right, down, down, and to the left, you can consider the outside of the matrix, the outside of the grid as water. All of that's water, that means that's one island. This up, down, left, right is all water. That's one island. That there left, up is water, and also to the sides outside the grid. So that's three islands. So for this one, how you want to approach it is you want to do a depth first search. Every time you find a one, you want to go ahead and do a depth first search of all the nodes surrounding each node. As long as it's a one, you want to sync it, set it to a 0, or set it to a -1, or whatever you want, and you want to increment the total by 1, the total number of islands by 1, and then go search and explore every single one that's right next to them, right? That's adjacent to them, to the left, right, up, or down, and then sync those into zeros or ones, just anything that's not a 1. And then after you've sunk them all, increment next, and go through the whole grid. Every single time you find a 1, anywhere you find it, you want to go ahead and increment the total number of islands, and then sync them all, right? And then you'll have your answer. So I'll show you guys how to do that today in C++. So first of all, I want to have our final. We're going to set that to 0, and then we'll return it all the way at the end, our island count. And then we're going to go ahead and loop through the 2D matrix. How you do that is you loop through rows first. We're going to go ahead increment I, and then now you want to loop through the columns. So how you do that is for int j is equal to 0, j is less than grids at 0 dot size. This is just standard 2D matrix traversal. And so if we find a 1, if grid at I at row I column j is equal to, are these ones or are these characters? Yes, it's a character array. So it's going to be a 1. We want to, oops, we want to go ahead and increment count plus plus, and then we want to search and sync. See if that looks any better. There you go. Yeah, sure. Search and sync the grid. We'll go ahead pass the grid in, and then at I, j. Right? And then we'll keep looping. And so now we're going to go ahead and implement our search and sync. So that's going to be a void function. Alright, so we're going to go and pass in by reference our 2D vector. And then rows and columns. And then now we want to check if we're a zero, if anything is invalid essentially. So it's invalid if it's 0. It's invalid if it's anywhere outside the bounds, right? So if we're anywhere, if it's a 0, we don't want to do anything because we can't sink water, right? We want to sink only land. So the only way how we do that is if we're going to do our checks, and then we'll return. We'll just get out of the function. So all of our checks are going to be here. We'll implement those in a moment. And then we essentially want to sink it. So since our grid is passed in by reference, we can just set ij is equal to 0. And then we're going to go ahead and search and sink all the surrounding regions. So we're going to go ahead, search and sink that way, that way, that way, and that way. So that's to the left. That's so I plus 1 is going to be right below. I minus 1 is going to be above. J plus 1 is going to be to the right, and J minus 1 is going to be to the left, right? So we go ahead, search and sync those. And then now our checks, so if I is less than 0, or I is greater than or equal to grid.size, right? Because that's going to be out of bounds. Since it can only go, I can be at max grid.size minus 1, since vectors and arrays are 0 based. And then j is less than 0, or j is greater than grid I greater than or equal to, again, bit of a tricky one there, dot size, or grid I j is not equal to 1, right? Go ahead, return, and this right here should work, unless if we've made some silly mistakes here or there. We can go ahead and fix. As always, what have I done? Oh, it's grid, not grids. Always has to be something. Let's see. Alright, that's correct. Let's go ahead. There we go. 12 milliseconds faster than 92.43%, and uses less memory than 94.38% of other C++ submissions. Awesome. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.